Good morning, everybody. Such a pleasure to be with you all on this nice and cool day. I am pleased to be joined by Shimada Brown here, who is the town manager of Maysville in Jones County, Ryan Shaver from the North Carolina Masonry Association, and I will introduce Yannicka in a minute. There's some cabinet secretaries here. Thank you all for being here. Legislators, elected officials, and a ton of housing advocates. I'm so grateful to see so many public and private sector housing advocates who are here to address this critical issue facing North Carolina. There is so much going for North Carolina at the moment. Within the past year, we were named the top state for business, the top state for workforce development, the top state for economic development. Last year was the best year for job announcements in the history of this state. 35,000 good-paying jobs. So it probably doesn't surprise us very much to know that more people moved to North Carolina from other states than to any other state in the country last year. Economic opportunity is not just about good-paying jobs. It also means that people can afford the essentials in their lives. They need an affordable place to call home. But looking ahead to 2029, North Carolina is projected to be more than 750,000 homes short of our housing needs. You all have heard the expression that if you build it, they will come. Turns out, in North Carolina, if you don't build it, they will still come. People want to live and work here, but we simply do not have enough homes to meet that growing demand. Housing is the single biggest expense that most families face. So if somebody's rent or mortgage takes up too much of their monthly paycheck, that means that they have that much less to spend on other essentials. Here are some poignant notes. In 23 of our counties, teachers do not make enough money to pay the average rent of that county. Rent, not mortgage. Carpenters, the people who actually build the homes. In Charlotte today, a carpenter could afford only about 20% of the entry-level homes on the market in that county. Here in Raleigh, they can only afford 8% of available entry-level homes. They can build the homes, they just can't afford to live in the homes they're building. To create meaningful opportunity for every North Carolinian to succeed, we must significantly increase the number of homes and housing units that we build each year. And as too many people are experiencing, when there are not enough affordable home options, home prices, home rents, they go up. And they go up for everyone, affecting young families trying to buy their first home, service members trying to live near the military base they live at, police officers trying to live in the cities that they serve and protect. And for not an insignificant number of people, when the costs go up, it tips people into homelessness. Housing availability impacts nearly everyone. So we must increase home ownership opportunities and expand housing options of all types: single family, duplexes, triplexes, condos, apartments, special needs housing, all across this state, so that our homes are a source of stability in people's lives, not one of stress. It's going to take all of us, public, private, nonprofit, state, local, federal, coming together to solve our housing challenges. We need to leverage private sector and federal funds to build more affordable housing options. We need to rehab to make homes more efficient and build for resilience. We need to encourage collaboration between local governments and builders for more innovation and creativity to increase housing supply. There are great examples of this taking place around the state already, and so let's build on these success stories, learn from them, and apply them in more communities. One example we'll be hearing from Shimada, the town manager of Maysville, is about work being done in Jones County. We also need more people to build these homes. Labor is a major component of housing construction, which then flows into the cost that people pay. North Carolina faces a serious shortage of skilled trades and construction professionals. We have to invest in workforce training and apprenticeships that prepare more people for these high-demand jobs. Ryan Shaver with the North Carolina Masonry Association is going to talk about the value of apprenticeships in that industry, including his own experience as an apprentice. I also want to emphasize that no one person or one group has all of the answers here. And there is a lot more commonality than people may initially think. We're going to all have to come together to solve our housing challenges. There are bipartisan efforts at the General Assembly to cut red tape and make it easier to build housing, which I support. I see Senator Mayfield here with us. Groups from all ends of the ideological spectrum, from Americans for Prosperity and the John Locke Foundation to the Catawba River Keepers and the North Carolina Housing Coalition, they share a lot of the same ideas. There are many common sense recommendations that would increase the state's housing supply. The ideas all revolve around freedom and flexibility, making it easier for homeowners, builders, and local governments to build and maintain more types of housing that people need. North Carolina's growth is something to celebrate. We can all take pride in how things are going here in North Carolina, but it's also something for us to prepare for. We have to be smart about our growth, and we must ensure that the people who live here and work here can afford to stay here. So my budget invests in building more workforce and supportive housing. It rewards local governments that increase housing supply. I'm calling for investments in workforce programs like Apprenticeship NC, which nearly doubled the number of construction apprentices from 2024 to 2025. Last fall, I relaunched the Interagency Council for coordinating homelessness programs to help improve alignment across agency programs to meet people's essential needs. We already know a lot about what we need to do to build more housing. We've just got to get to work doing it. That's why today I am signing an executive order increasing housing opportunities in North Carolina. This executive order coordinates our efforts across state government to facilitate more housing construction and housing access. Agencies will collaborate with each other and use data and technology to get more information on housing needs and potential solutions and locations. They will work with local governments and corporate and nonprofit partners around shared goals. And we will amplify the success stories that are happening in North Carolina and share them more broadly across the state. To coordinate these efforts, I'm creating a new senior advisor for housing policy in my office. And it is my distinct pleasure to welcome Yannicka Ratcliffe, who will be serving in that role. All the housing heads in the room know that what a coup it is for us to have Yannicka here. She is a national leader on housing policy, and it is our good fortune that she's also a longtime North Carolinian. And in just a minute, I'm going to invite her to share more about the scope of the executive order and the work, our collective work ahead to create more housing that people can afford. We have a responsibility to lower costs for families whenever we can, and that clearly includes families' largest monthly expense, housing. We need to create more good-paying jobs in the housing and construction industry. And we need to get people the skills that they need to succeed in those jobs. So let's get hammering. I will now turn it over to Yannicka Ratcliffe. Yannicka, welcome.
Thank you, Governor Stein, for the privilege and the opportunity to serve our state. And thank you all for showing up. It is not lost on me that we're crowded under a big tent here because it is going to take all of us to meet the challenge that the governor just laid out for us. The state itself can't build houses. I certainly can't do it by myself. But what the executive order does is it sets us up to make it easier for more housing to be built more affordably across the state. First, as you heard, the executive order directs state agencies to coordinate resources and strategies and data so that we can identify and tackle problems as one team. And I see many state agencies here represented here today, and I'm excited and grateful for our partnership. It also calls on us to work hand in hand with local governments, regional bodies, and private sector, from nonprofits to for-profits to builders to financial institutions, employers and corporate partners. And I see all of these represented here. And I'm really looking forward to and excited about working with all of you to tackle these challenges together. And thirdly, as you heard, the executive order pushes us to seek out what works and lift it up so that we can accelerate adoption and progress in communities across the state. We know there are so many cool things happening in many places, you know, from the conversion of a historic car dealership into low-income housing for seniors in Salisbury to the things you're going to hear about from Jones County. And Jones County is one of 22 counties who participated in a program by the University of North Carolina, Our State, Our Homes, where they got together for 18 months to design strategies to address affordable housing. These examples show what's possible with shared goals and teamwork and how we can all learn from each other. So a big tent covers the whole state, and it recognizes that each community has distinct needs. So you take Jones County. They may need a few hundred homes to meet the forecast gap in their housing through 2029. But that is more than 10% of their existing housing stock, so they have their work cut out for them. And then you've got Chatham County, who's here today and who was also in the Our State, Our Homes program. They have the distinction of having the largest gap to close, a 33% increase in their housing stock. And not coincidentally, they also have the honor of having the highest median list price for a home, over $800,000. Y'all, think about that. And here, right here, Wake County needs over 100,000 units to meet projected demand. A Big Tent also covers all types of housing, as the governor mentioned. We can't just build more high-end homes and luxury apartment buildings. We need multi-generational options like backyard cottages, low-cost infill, and we need starter homes so that our young households can put down roots right here in our communities. And we need more innovation from factory-built housing, for example. And we need to do all this in ways that keeps people out of harm's way and the risk of hazards and disasters. We also need to preserve and rebuild our existing housing stock and to make sure our seniors have safe places to call home, and that the people who keep our businesses and our hospitals and our schools and our communities running, and the teachers and the firefighters and the social workers and police people, all have the option to live in the communities that rely on them. Meanwhile, over 40,000 households are waitlisted for subsidized housing units, and homelessness rose in 2024, especially among families with children, which is a trend we cannot accept. And I look forward to working with the relaunched Interagency Council on coordinating homelessness programs, knowing that the lack of housing that people can afford is a fundamental contributor to homelessness. A Big Tent approach to housing affordability and housing access is what this state needs now and what we need for its long-term future, to ensure that every North Carolinian has a safe, stable, affordable place to call home. This is a long journey, but together we have what it takes. So thank you in advance for the part you all will play. And I will now turn it over to Shumata Brown, Maysville Town Manager, who is already hammering away at housing issues.
Good morning, everyone. First, I would like to thank the governor's office for the invitation here. Coming to the governor's mansion, that's going to be the closest I get to affordable housing with that much square footage. I want to congratulate Yannicka on her appointment as Senior Advisor for Housing. Governor Stein leadership is elevating housing at a statewide priority that reflects how critical this issue is for communities across North Carolina. Through Jones County for Life partnership with Our State, Our Home, we understand solving housing challenges requires collaboration, innovation, and leadership willing to confront the difficult issues ahead. That is why today's executive order is so important. One of the best examples of this is the Jones County for Life collaboration itself. How it came together in the diverse group of partners who chose to sit at the table with one shared goal to expand opportunity and address housing needs in rural communities like ours. We have leaders today who represent that spirit of collaboration. Maysville Mayor Pro Tem Dan Ryan is here. He understands that town councils must be flexible and forward-thinking when working with developers and builders if we want real progress. We just can't always say no. Demetrius Jones, our finance officer, helps to ensure the vision is matched with physical responsibility and accountability. And while county manager and economic developer Kyle Smith and John Bennett is not here today, it continues to work deep to connect the efforts as we align our county and municipal goals and priorities around housing. But in Maysville, we understand that something else. We don't only need collaboration and innovation. We believe in divine intervention. Amen. This is why we're grateful to have Pastor Will Jones serving on our team, reminding us that this work is not only economic, but also more and community driven. We're gonna need more than that hammer. We're gonna need prayer, right? And because we are serious about this work, the town of Maysville even created a new position dedicated specifically for housing and community projects. Zaya Monte is here today, new to our team, helping us focus intentionally in expanding housing opportunities and moving projects forward. For communities like Jones County and the town of Maysville, housing is not an abstract policy discussion. It's about whether families can stay, grow, and thrive in places they call home. When I think about housing, I'm always reminded about the story of Jesus Christ. Mary and Joseph arrived in Bethlehem seeking shelter, stability, but there was no room. That story still speaks to us today because too many families across our state are still searching for the basic need, a place to belong. But in Jones County, we're not waiting for solutions. We're building them. We're moving forward with a 40-unit affordable apartment, which is a $10 million investment that provides homes for working families and seniors. We're revitalizing downtown. The town has purchased downtown buildings to create apartments for low to moderate income individuals. But what makes our story different is that we're not only building houses, we're building opportunity. Our schools are a major part of that success. Governor Stein, I heard they got an awesome board chair down in Jones County. Jones County Public Schools is one of only 11 school districts in North Carolina with no low-performing schools. That matters. Strong schools drive housing demand, and we're experiencing that demand in Maysville. Families want to live where their children can succeed, and that success directly connects to the need for more attainable housing. And in Maysville, we recently opened a workforce development center focused on training individuals in skilled trades so they can have and earn livable wages and build a future right at home. When you combine strong schools, workforce development, and housing, you begin to see a full ecosystem of opportunity taking shape, one that other rural communities can learn and duplicate from. Yannicka, your leadership comes at a critical time for communities like ours, and we're grateful for Governor Stein's recognition of housing as a statewide priority through your appointment in this executive order. We're thankful for your willingness to serve and for your partnership in helping rural North Carolina move forward. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless North Carolina. And I'll hand it over to Mr. Shaver.
Good morning. I'm Ryan Shaver with the North Carolina Masonry Contractors Association. I'd like to thank Governor Stein for allowing us to be here today and supporting registered apprenticeship in North Carolina. My registered apprenticeship began in 1990. Anybody remember 1990? I went back into archives and I dug out a few things from 1992. 1992, I was able to compete at the apprenticeship contest at the State Fair in Raleigh. We just celebrated our State Fair contest in October, and it was the 72nd year of that contest going on, and I'm able to have today Mr. David Hernandez, who won that contest as an apprentice. David is an apprentice with Whitman Masonry here out of Raleigh Market. And back in those days, I've got a picture here, and I shared it with the governor's team. Jim Graham, anybody remember Jim Graham? Commissioner of Agriculture. How about anybody remember John Brooks, Commissioner of Labor? They awarded me my gold medal in October of 1992, and I'll never forget that. We also had a young lady, her name was Alice Jones. I would love to see her again. Alice was our boots on the ground with apprenticeship. This was back before the times of email and cell phones. So Alice would come out to the job site, visit us periodically. It was a great experience for me coming through my apprenticeship. That apprenticeship got me pointed in the right direction for a career path that I've never left, which has been great. So that's why I'm excited to have these apprentices behind me today, because we are pointing them in a direction for the rest of their life. A career path that they can make a good livable wage, that they can be productive, and they can afford housing. So this is why it's so important to look at our workforce and do what we can together to pull that together. I've had the opportunity to advance in the trade, and I'm honored that now I can use my position where I'm at to get these guys going in that same direction that was influential for me. So I want to thank Governor Stein and his team today for making this possible. And we are, and I mean this when I say this, the #1 state for workforce in the country. We push apprenticeship like no other state does. And it's our goal and our opportunity to keep that going strong today with this executive order. Governor Stein, thank you.
Tim Crowley with Secretary of State. Y'all kind of come on in here. This signature is much nicer than mine. Executive Order number 36, increasing housing opportunities for all North Carolinians.